Okay, so I wanted to do a video about basically the 5 things that I would focus on for growth and strength for beginners. Just so you know, this is the most crucial time for you as a beginner. Just coming into the gym, you want to be really ready to see those newbie gains, as they like to call them, because this is the time that you're going to grow the most, you're going to gain the most strength. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing the right things. Don't do what I did. I didn't focus on progression. I looked at all the bodybuilders out there that were huge and were doing all this like useless pump work. That stuff doesn't. You're gonna grow inevitably because that's just the thing, the magic of the newbie gains. But there's things that you can do to optimize that growth. Just to kind of give you a little bit of expectation on what you can develop in terms of muscle in a year. They say throughout your lifetime. There was actually a recent study done by Dr. Casey Butt, and he looked at a lot of I think 300 or something of the top natural bodybuilders and their progression. And he looked at how much muscle they were able to build over their lifetime. And on average, he found that you could build about 30 to 35 pounds of muscle. That is, pardon my language, that is a fuckload of muscle. Even if you're natural, that's a lot of muscle mass. Clearly, I haven't developed even half of that, but I spent my first little bit of newbie gains, like I said, doing pump work and actually losing weight. But I'm going to get into the whole losing weight, gaining muscle at the same time thing as we go along, and you'll see what I mean. But so yeah, let me get right into it. First off, let me tell you, in your first year, you expect to gain about 12 to 16 pounds roughly. They say what you need to understand though is that that's for average. Some people you might notice will gain 20 pounds, but that's because those are usually outliers, and they're just genetically built like that. They have that genetic predisposition to build more muscle, thicker bone structure, whatever it might be. So first thing, rest. Don't be afraid to, people will tell you, no, you gotta get in the gym, you gotta work harder, you gotta do 6 days a week. If you could do 7, that's great. No, because your body builds muscle while you're resting. I mean, you can get away with working out 7 times a week, right? But more in this case is not always better. That working out, things like working out, what else is there? Oh, cardio, things like that. Those are catabolic, which means that you break down muscle tissues. To grow, you need to build the muscle tissue, which is the anabolic activities. So things like eating, food is anabolic, rest is anabolic. So you want to focus on getting about 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Like I said, you're going to grow regardless. If you can't, don't worry about it so much, but focus on at least getting about 6 hours a night. That's what I would really tell you. And then the second point is focus on progressive overload, which means that you, over time, either add weight to the bar, right? Or is the key there, or add volume, which means sets and reps. So you want to consistently grow that total workload. So volume is the number of sets times the number of reps times the weight. That's your total workload. So you want to make sure that workload number slowly goes up. So people say that, oh, can I use body weight exercise to build muscle? Maybe for a small period of time, but really the problem is to be able to progress in that exercise that you're doing, say it's push-ups, like you're going to have to, you can increase your amount of sets and reps, but you're going to be doing push-ups the whole day if you want to keep seeing progression. So what I would tell you is, again, this leads to my next point, the third point. I'll go on to that. So focus on the compound movements. This will allow you to be more efficient with your workouts. So the compound movements mainly are things like the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, and the overhead press. I mean, those are the 4 that they really say your program should be the foundation of your program. but there definitely is more that will target like compound muscles, like for example weighted pull-ups, or doing different variations of you don't have to do necessarily flat bench press. You could be doing incline, or you could be doing dumbbell press, right? And I think that's what I prefer the dumbbell press over the standing overhead press, but I would suggest doing the standing overhead press. And I think if you progress in those compound movements, what it does is it allows you to be efficient with your time. You get into the gym, stimulate the muscles that need to be stimulated. Don't focus so much on the pump work, the isolation work. Yes, for individual needs, like if you want to grow your upper chest, maybe you're going to do a little bit more isolation work with like dumbbell incline. Focus on the progression on your upper chest, but really focus on the compound movements. Get in, get out, allow yourself to rest and grow. That's kind of the key. And then it comes down to frequency. So how often you hit that specific muscle group per week. The bodybuilders will give you a body part split, which means that they'll work their back one day, they'll work their arms the other days, and then chest one day, legs the other day, abs, take 2 days off, or whatever it might be. But you're only really directly working the muscle one time per week. As a natural bodybuilder, I'm assuming you're natural, even with extra supplements, you're still going to grow faster if you do frequency per week at like 2 to 3 times. So you hit a muscle 2 to 3 times per week. So that's why I suggest doing something like a push-pull split. So you do push exercises, so like tricep work, chest work, and even squats. I saw the most progression in terms of strength doing this, and then deadlifts you do another day with the pull movements, like for your back and bicep. I noticed the most progression. Or you could also do, and I work out 4 times per week and work the muscle groups 2 times, specific muscle groups 2 times per week. So there's also another split that you could do where it's upper lower, which is the same idea. You work components of your upper body twice per week and then lower body twice per week. But the best one that I would suggest is the ultimate frequency number, which is 3. So you do an all body split where you focus mainly on compound movements. I'll give you guys an example, like a link in the description box for an exercise regime that you can adopt to do this all body routine, and I'll post in the link, or I'll post in the description box below. I also have a thing that I'll give you that I put together, like a progression 8-week program. I put it together for myself and some of my friends, and it gives you, it's an Excel spreadsheet with all the progression numbers in there and explains everything to you. I'll post it as well down below, or hopefully I can post it down below. Otherwise, what I'll do is I have an article related to this in my blog at www.roadtostrength.wordpress.com. I'll have an article about this exact topic that I'm speaking with you now, and I'll include the Excel spreadsheet in that document if you want to take a look at it. But like I said, yeah, focus on frequency, which is pretty important. The last point, which will, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, like I've been saying a million times over, you will grow regardless, but eating. A lot of people don't eat enough to grow. But what you want to do is, if you are overweight already and you want to build muscle, but you are struggling because you have to lose the fat first, this is where you're in luck, because newbie gains, you're able to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. There's a whole bit of controversy around this topic because so many people believe that you can do that simultaneously even when you're a more advanced lifter. And I highly disagree because they're contrary to one another, because one says you have to be in a calorie surplus, one says you have to be in a calorie deficit, right? So how do you, they say eat at maintenance, I don't know why I cover my face there, but eat at maintenance, and you can build muscle at maintenance, but you're not ultimately going to grow at the level and the time that you want. So I would just say focus on a small calorie surplus. If, for example, you're of an average body type, or if you're, more if you're average, I would say focus on a little bit of calorie surplus. If you're or overweight, focus on that calorie deficit. You're going to be building muscle anyway. Burn the fat, build the muscle. You might not gain 11 pounds of 12 pounds of muscle, the lower end of the average muscle growth in your first year of lifting, but you will gain that later on. But you want to focus right now on losing the fat. So you might gain maybe 8 to 10 pounds, which is fine. That's still a lot of muscle mass. And being having less fat on you, that muscle will show. Like you'll notice like the roundness of the shoulders and everything like that, the tonality of the shoulders. So focus on the calorie deficit if you're overweight. If you're average, a little surplus, and if you are a hard gainer or a skinny guy, naturally eat. I wouldn't even count calories. So what I recommend you do to figure out this baseline maintenance calorie level, which is the calorie level at which you maintain your weight, what you have to do is go to ifym.com. I'll put it in the description box below as well, the link. They have a calculator on there where you can develop based on you can calculate your maintenance calories. It's a figurative one, so I'll give you tips after regarding how to adjust it. Based on your weight, height, gender, age, and activity level, it will give you a maintenance calories that they suggest. So what I would suggest that you do is you eat at this calorie level and track meticulously just for 2 weeks. Just have the diligence just for 2 weeks. Monitor the scale, weigh yourself every single morning when you wake up after you've gone to the bathroom, because that's at your most raw point. And see, notice, are you losing weight, or are you gaining weight, or are you maintaining your weight? If you're losing weight, right, use this, I guess, as your cutting calories if you're overweight, right? Use this as the calories at which you're going to start your cut at. If you're maintaining your weight in your average body, add 10%. So say it was 2,500 calories, add 250 calories to this and start eating at 2,750 calories, and see if your weight starts to gradually go up from there. And you're going to have to adjust your calorie levels as you go. You don't need to be super meticulous with this. Just make sure that you know that you're either eating enough on your cut to maintain that progression or that weight loss, or the same thing with building the muscle. As an average, you want to make sure that you're an average person. You want to make sure that you're eating consistently, not gaining too much fat, but eating enough to gain the muscle that you need. And the same thing but the person who's more the hard gainer, the naturally ectomorph, skinny person, I would say just eat. And monitor the scale, make sure that you're gaining weight. That will help you to get closer to your goals. So I hope those 5 tips helped you. Like I said, I will leave a link in the description box about the article that I post to my blog site, which, like I said, was www.roadtostrength, all one word, clearly, .wordpress.com. So take a look there, and if I am not able to post the upper-lower split that I put together in the video in the description box, I will put it there and you can reference it there. So hope these tips helped, and hopefully you will grow.